My name is Sunny Sharsar. I love the world of technology, SaaS, and customer success. And this is my point of view. Why is the world looking down? Everywhere you go, people are hooked onto this habit of looking down, bending their necks, and consuming copious amounts of this drug. People from all walks of life, children, teens, adults, senior citizens are hooked onto this drug every day, and there seems nothing to rescue them from its vice-like grip. This is the greatest addiction that the world is facing today. This is the addiction that has made people behave like zombies, stealing away from them their lives and social skills. A drug that feeds them a continuous supply of ego boost with every like, while sometimes such likes or no likes can even lead to death. It is a drug that has fueled the world of so-called influencers. The world now is intently consuming their bite-sized nuggets of videos and half-baked information. This drug has created a society where the idea of an ideal life is more powerful than the process of building one. A drug that has taken a lot of us away from human interactions, away from human conversations, away from bonding. And sadly, it has taken a lot of us away from ourselves. A drug that has influenced millions of people to falsely portray a perfect life, a perfect picture, just to cover up for their innate inadequacies and trauma. It is a drug that is killing us slowly. This is the drug of social media, perpetuated by the ubiquitous smartphone. The drug of social media has fueled our need for social validation, social approval, and social conformity. A vast population today that have access to apps via their smartphones suffer from anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, sleep disorders, loneliness, insecurity, and inadequacy, sometimes even leading to suicide. If you find that scary, wait for this. Social media addiction and smartphone addiction is not recognized as a health hazard.
The world has yet to even acknowledge that this addiction exists, despite it being all around us and fueling our current mental health crisis. Now, there is a code for getting sucked up into a jet engine and requiring medical care, but there's no code for phone addiction. If there's no code, it makes it incredibly difficult to diagnose, bill for, and track.
In fact, on the contrary, this addiction is fueled right in our homes. Kids are being gifted smartphones with very less degree of parental controls. And with the advent of double-income households, kids are left to the mercy of the continuous hits of dopamine that gets them addicted. Parents are also hooked onto this, and they are hooked onto this every time, while commuting for work, whether on buses, trains, or cars. Whether they are passengers or they are driving themselves, they are always distracted. Holidays and vacations have now become more about putting that perfect picture of our not-so-perfect lives. Shots of food and drinks have become more important than the taste of the food itself. The more likes we accumulate, the better we feel. Deep inside we know that these are not our real lives. These pictures are not who we are. But we are just not able to stop ourselves because we crave attention and social validation. Inauthenticity has become a trend, social validation has become a necessity, and depression is a household condition. What the smartphone and social media did is just the opposite of what humans have been designed to do. We are built to be outdoors, to be in sync with nature, to touch, to feel, to smell, to taste, and to listen. Humans were built to venture out in the open, to hunt, to build communities, to interact, and to socialize. It's in our DNA, yet increasingly people are shutting themselves indoors and getting hooked onto their smartphones and immersing themselves into this addiction. In fact, our addiction is so deeply entrenched into our DNA that we now need apps to sleep. We need apps to work out, to record our steps. We need apps to record our heart rates, and we need apps to help us keep away from social media and the various apps that it brings to us. Our world is indeed ironical. The last 12 months I've traveled more than 12,000 kilometers, and all I could see across restaurants, beaches and coffee shops were innumerable shots being taken by people and being posted on their social media. In fact, we have started becoming so uncomfortable with ourselves that we rely on filters to project the cooler, sexier and the perfect version of ourselves, the versions we can never be, but we dreamed to be one day. The question to ask is, why are people so hooked on to this life of smartphones and social media? This was not like this a few decades ago. The other reason for this addiction is something we do subconsciously. To know what this is, let's have a little bit of a trailer.
There is a huge group of people at work behind our screens. They're called behaviour architects, and the power they have is massive. That urge to keep swiping through your Twitter feed, that's design. Swiping left or right on Tinder, that's design too. We live in an online world of someone else's making, and most of us never even give it a second thought. And actually, that's design as well.
I think we've all had that experience of like going to YouTube and you think, I'm just gonna watch one video, and then like somehow like you shake your head and an hour has passed, and like how is it that technology has hypnotized us?
Welcome to the world of the infinite scroll. Now, what is this infinite scroll? The infinite scroll is the feature in social media feeds designed to ensure endless scrolling, providing an infinite burst of dopamine hits more lethal than cocaine. The infinite scroll allows users to endlessly swipe down through content without clicking. In 2006, Mr. Azar Raskin, a leading technology engineer himself, designed the infinite scroll.
If you don't give your mind or your brain the time to catch up with your impulses, you don't give people stopping cues, you just keep scrolling. And it became so powerful that it just addicts people.
He also said many designers were driven to create addictive app features in order to get the next round of funding, in order to get the stock prices high up. The amount of time that people spent on the app had to go up.
A few years ago, YouTube set a company-wide objective to reach 1 billion hours of viewing a day. Netflix creator Reed Hastings has also said multiple times that the company's biggest competitor isn't another website, it's sleep.
One of the primary targets of the after effects of social media addiction are teens. The social and cognitive abilities of the teens are rapidly developing, and at the same time, they are highly manipulatable. Social media induces them to seek validation, instant gratification, and isolation. This in turn leads to depression, anxiety, and ADHD, to name a few. And sometimes, in extreme cases, even death.
Everything a kid wanted. He had friends, he had, girls that loved him.
Before he pulled the trigger, he had to post on social media.
So what kind of a world have we created? It is a world where a lot of us are craving for external validation in the form of likes, comments, and shares. It is a world where we have closed our inner selves and opened the doors for others to judge us. Our feeling of who we are is now based on how others see us. We have now become a race where it does not matter if your coffee tasted great or not, as long as you got a perfect shot. We have bigger appetites now for vanity and judgments. We use dating apps to collect matches instead of making conversations. We text hundreds of people, leaving us exhausted and empty, and so we start conversing in monosyllables. While the smartphones and the apps have made the world a better place by connecting people, by democratizing financial opportunities, saving time, and more importantly, saving lives, there is also this dark side that needs to be recognized as a social hazard. Else, we will soon become a race that gained everything but lost itself.